Hello friends, Adam here with FED. Today we're going to be doing a Blue Lions tier list for Fire Emblem Three Houses. So I got the feedback, not everyone, but a lot of you want route-specific tier lists, and I think I saw the most requests for Blue Lions, so here we are. We're going to be rating all of the characters based on multiple factors, things such as their stats, which are probably up there with the least important things. But among those, dependent abilities that they can learn, dependent combat arts that they learn. And when I say dependent, I mean they learn them while other people don't. For instance, Bernadetta learns Encloser, while I think Claude learns Encloser as well, but for instance, Byleth doesn't learn Encloser. Or Sylvain learns Swift Strikes, but Ingrid does not learn Swift Strikes. Things like that. Did I say Dimitri? I meant to say Sylvain. If I said Dimitri, I don't know. Anyways, we're going to rank every character available in the Blue Lions path. So that means no Edelgard, no Claude, no Hubert, no Yuritsa, characters like that. But everyone else will be rated based on all sorts of criteria. Another one that I will mention is we will be talking about availability. And when I say availability, I mean how many maps are you going to be able to use them in your playthrough. So a unit such as, say, Gilbert. Gilbert is going to be knocked down a peg or two, depending on where I put him originally anyways. But Gilbert's going to be knocked down because he doesn't have very good availability. He's only available for the second half of the game. Okay. But someone like Byleth or Dimitri are going to be praised for their perfect availability and that they are always there. They might not end up this high, but their perfect availability is definitely a point in their favor. And finally, just, I guess, utility magic is really important to me. So that's probably going to be a large factor in this tier list. And by probably, I mean it is a large factor in this tier list. Units with great healing spells like Mercedes, that's really important to me. Units with movement tech type spells like Lysithea with Warp, or Flame with Rescue, things like that are really important to me, and I think make units more interesting and more important, or just better overall. And having combos of those, of course, is really good as well. So let's get into it. We'll start with Byleth, then do the Blue Lions, then we'll do the Black Eagles, and then we'll finish off with the Golden Deer and the Church units. And of course, we'll finish with DLC. We'll have those as well, don't worry. Alright, so Byleth and male Byleth and female Byleth are both S tier characters to me. I contemplated putting them in S+, but S+ is just so good that there's only really one unit I feel comfortable putting in S+. Like, there's one unit that really deserves a tier of their own. But Byleth, overall, their personal ability is really good, especially on maddening, and that's mainly what this is going to be based on. This tier list is based on maddening. Doesn't mean you can't use this information that I talk about on lower difficulties. Just lower difficulties, it matters less what characters you use. So the Byleths on maddening, you really appreciate getting that plus 20% extra experience from their personal skill, Professor's Guidance. That is just super clutch in the early game, especially until you get the statues leveled up to get the extra experience. And then once you get the statues leveled up, it's just even more to compound on top of their personal skills. So just that alone makes them really good. And then on top of that, they have to be deployed in every map. They're the only unit that has to be deployed in every map, aside from auxiliary battles. And they also have good stats. Good stats. They learn Wind Sweep. Wind Sweep's really fun on maddening, and just a good combat art in general. Especially since they're not going to be doubling a whole lot, to be honest, unless you really feed them with speed carrots and stuff. Or they're fighting a slower enemy like a Fortress Knight or something. But Wind Sweep is really good. And I think I'm going to put female Byleth slightly ahead of male Byleth, just because early flyer access is really good, in my opinion. I really like it. And you're probably going to be there's certain units that want lances that I think are worth recruiting, so it's kind of a small point in that favor as well. So going Pegasus Knight is honestly pretty awesome. And Darting Blow, I mean, if you are trying to get a Byleth that can double, Darting Blow is good, but overall I think Death Blow is better on maddening. But yeah, these two are pretty interchangeable. They're both really good. They both have like pros and cons, either one way or the other. But for now, we're gonna do this. Female slightly above male. All right, Blue Lion time. Dimitri. He is the aforementioned Omega S plus tier character. Dimitri has the ultimate combo in Battalion Wrath and Battalion Vantage. The only time Dimitri doesn't perform super well, and even in this chapter he can contribute, but the only chapter where he doesn't perform outstandingly is chapter 13. Chapter 13, I can't remember on Blue Lions if it's called Reunion at Dawn or Hunting by Daybreak or whatever it's called, but chapter 13, the first chapter of the time skip, is really rough for Dimitri. His personal class isn't that great for this chapter. Being able to fly would be really nice, but he is locked to a foot class, which it's a fine class statistically and everything, but I'd much rather have him in like Wyvern Lord or something for that map in particular. But Battalion Wrath is so good for as soon as you get battalions and as soon as you can get him to a point where he has Battalion Wrath and Battalion Vantage, he just steamrolls the game. There's no reason for him not to just win for you, right? Essentially, so if you do that paired with Retribution, or if you have the DLC and you want to give him the Chalice of Beginning, even if you're being crazy that way, it's an automatic win button. And I shouldn't say automatic, but for the most part, it's a pretty automatic win button, unless he doesn't one shot. But with his insane strength stat, that's not going to be an issue. And Dimitri has a lot of other things good going for him too. His personal ability, like the other lords, is of course really good. Just gets extra experience. And then after the time skip, it also just gives him a bunch of extra avoid when he's at full HP, which is insane. Just Dimitri overall is busted. I don't know if Intelligent Systems or Koei Tecmo, whoever designed the units in particular, knew how good they were making Dimitri, but they made him insane. So yeah, Dimitri's really good. If you haven't tried Battalion Wrath, Battalion Vantage shenanigans, you need to try it. It's really fun. All right, Dedue. Where should you go, Dedue? What should I do with you? Dedue, a lot of people praise him for his wait skill, which when he waits on player phase, so essentially he doesn't perform any actions, but he waits. So he can't attack, can't use an item, can't do anything like that. He just has to wait. Gets +4 defense, which at base is 12 defense, which is way higher than you're going to see from other characters. That's great. 12 defense isn't bad. But that is not enough for me to say he's like this really Omega good unit. He has other things. He has Vengeance, which is fun and good. And I think Vengeance is a little overrated at this point. But Vengeance is definitely a plus in his favor. I'm debating whether or not I put him in A or B+. I think Dedue is a lot better than some people give him credit for. I think I'm going to settle for B+, though, just because of his lack of availability, which it isn't even that bad. But the fact that he disappears for a few chapters in part 2 is just enough for me to not like that. That's annoying. Especially you miss him on the most difficult and probably most important 2 chapters in all of Blue Lions Maddening, being chapter 13 and 14, where having a really tanky unit like Dedue would be really nice. So I think B+ is fair. I think B+ is fair because honestly, really solid unit. Especially on Maddening, it's nice to have the extra defense, but I think he falls off, and he is unavailable compared to other Blue Lions. Yeah, I don't know. I think he also runs 1-2 punch. 1-2 punch is cool. I like 1-2 punch a lot. Maybe I'll put him in A. I think I'll put him in A. I'll put him in A. Yeah, we'll put him in A. Okay. Fair enough. I like 1-2 punch. 1-2 punch is just like player phase quicker post. Makes it so they can't double you and you double them. Cool. Alright. Felix. I think this is definitely Felix's Beth. I guess I can't talk today. This is definitely Felix's best performance is in-house, in my opinion. People could disagree with me. His crest is great, being able to use that from the beginning. Also, his personal skill, you get the most weight out of his personal skill in the first few chapters. He gets +5 damage he deals +5 damage when he does not have a battalion equipped, or if his battalion is just at 0 endurance. The thing is, the farther down the road you get, the less useful that is, because there's battalions that give more than 5 attack or give 5 attack, plus other benefits. So early game is where that really comes in handy, and you can work on his authority skill, and by the time battalions are available, you might consider giving him one, you know? So this is definitely his best performance, in my opinion. You can work on gauntlets, which are great with the Crest of Fraldarius. War Master's a really fun class for him. But he'll work in just about any physical class you put him in. He'll be fine. So I debate S. I know a lot of people will want me to put him in S, but I'm going to put him in A+ for this tier list. My favorite unit, Lockpick. Did you guys know that Ash can be a flying thief in every sense of the word? He can use steel and have a lockpick and be on a dragon. No other units can do that, can they? In all seriousness, this is definitely Ash's best route. You don't have to go out of your way to recruit him. You can train him however you want. You can hit him with your hit +20s as soon as possible, so Deadeye isn't stupid inaccurate, which it's going to be stupid inaccurate anyways, but hit +20 would help. But yeah, Ash is pretty disappointing overall. I know I made that video was a joke that I made. I'm going to put him in B tier. I would put him in C tier, but since we're talking Blue Lions, I think he's a B tier character. Underwhelming stats, and doesn't really have anything special about him that no one else does. Yes, you can argue, yes, lockpick is a thing. But you can just buy keys. And you can just buy door and chest keys. Like, always. And they're not that expensive, they're pretty cheap. And you don't need them very often. So poor Ash is just, his niche is the smallest niche there ever was. Alright, Mercedes. I like Mercedes as a healer a ton, but she's not much more than that. She's not much more than that. I think I'm going to put her above Dedue. I'm going to put her above Dedue, and I'm going to put her in A tier. Physic and Fortify on one unit, awesome. And she deals decent magic chip damage, and it's another unit to pass around Thyrsus with. Passing around Thyrsus on player phase is really, really good. That's what you should be doing. Especially with how trading is, it's busted trading in 3 houses where it's literally infinite. You can trade for one person, and trade to another, and trade to another, trade to another, as long as they're all adjacent to you in the same turn. It's ridiculous. But Thyrsus trading plus some of the best, if not the best, healing utility in the game. Yeah, Mercedes is pretty dope that way. Sylvain. Sorry, clearing my throat. Sylvain. This is probably Sylvain's worst performance. I prefer him out of house. Because you can recruit him as soon as you can start recruiting students. He is available if you pick female Byleth, which why aren't you picking female Byleth if you're not playing Blue Lions? And also, he just jumps to level 3 automatically, which is really big. The first 5 levels, the first 5 to 10 levels in Maddening are the hardest levels to get. Those are the level ups that are going to take the longest. And being able to pull Sylvain from out of house to just already be at level 3 and not have to worry about getting those first 2 levels that are really difficult to get is a really good thing. So I like Sylvain. In the Blue Lions house is still good. I think I'm going to put him above Felix, but I don't think he's quite as good as he is in other houses. I really like Swift Strikes. And that's really... his stat spread is fine. You know what I mean? Swift Strikes is awesome. Stat spread is fine. The Crest of Gautier is usually kind of like a non-impact kind of thing. But it's still fun to have, and it's fun to see it proc, and just the +5 damage or so is cool. But really his big selling point is his really good combat art. Also, his defense tends to be pretty good. I don't know, maybe that's just total personal bias. I can't remember his defense growth off the top of my head. But yeah, Sylvain's a pretty solid tanky unit, and that's good for Maddening. Annette. Definitely better than Ash. I'm going to put her in B+. Annette, rally bot out of 10, right? But this is a game where rallying isn't as good as it is in like Fates or Awakening. In Fates and Awakening, you could rally a bunch of units at the same time, you know? But in 3 houses, you literally have to pick one unit to hit with a rally. So a lot less useful, but she does get the coveted rally speed, rally strength, at C+ authority is just a really, really great combination. And effectively, in many instances, you're going to increase the unit speed by 5 because of the +4 strength being part of the weight mitigation. So, like, +5 speed, +4 attack power is really good. Not gonna lie. She also gets, like, rally res, which is whatever. So, she gets one other rally that I can think. I'm pretty sure. I can't think of what it is off the top of my head, but it's not important because the other ones are more important. Other than that, another person to trade Thyrsus around with and to attack monsters and stuff from long range. And she has a decent magic spell list as far as attacking goes. If she had physics, she'd be a lot better in my eyes, but without it, she kind of struggles to do her job healing. But again, her reason list is actually pretty good. I like it. So overall, Annette's like serviceable and good, and this is probably her best chance at being a really good unit, is being in your Blue Lion's house. But overall, still a pretty lackluster unit compared to anyone above her, in my opinion. Alright, finally for the Blue Lion's house, everyone's favorite. Duskarian hitter. Ingrid. Ingrid, definitely her worst performance is in-house, which is sad. And I'm not too hot on Ingrid to begin with on Maddening. I don't think she's very good from, like, statistically. She struggles to deal damage, and if she gets hit, she's gonna die. Yeah, you really need to work on her stats if you want her to be decent. Again, a unit like Sylvain is gonna be better. A unit like Petra is Petra and Ingrid are very similar to me. I think Leonia ends up being better generally, a little more reliable on that strength growth. But overall, Ingrid's pretty disappointing to me. She gets Rally Magic though. Rally Magic's cool. I like Rally Magic, you know, that one extra warp range, always good. I think I'm going to put her in, we'll put her in B+, above Annette. I know that's probably going to make some people mad, but that's what we're going to do. Alright, now to the Black Eagle house. Again, we're skipping over Edelgard, of course, because, you know, duh. And skipping over Hubert because he's not recruitable in Blue Lions, or anywhere else for that matter. So, we have Ferdinand. Ferdinand, if recruitment wasn't a thing to consider, Ferdinand would be up here with Sylvain. Basically the same unit. Swift strikes, solid stats, bulky, great character for Maddening. But recruiting him is the biggest pain in the butt because you cannot get a B support with him. Without that B support, you have to train Byleth in heavy armor, which I hate doing. I don't know, some other people may like Fortress Knight Byleth or Armor Knight Byleth or Great Knight Byleth or something. Not my jam. And for that reason, this is going to make people mad. For that reason, I'm going to put Ferdinand way down here. Because recruiting him is a pain, and I hate it. It's a pain, and I hate it. So, call it bias or whatever you will, but yeah, B is where he's going. Yeah, just recruit heavy armor, man. That's a rough requirement to give to someone. Linhardt. Physic and Warp is good. Physic and Warp is good. Right? Physic and Warp is really good. I'm going to put him here. I'm going to put him there. Definitely worth recruiting if you need another Warper. And then he can heal when he's not warping, which is awesome. His damage output, pretty bad. His magic's not going to be that high, which means his warp range isn't going to be that good either. The more I think about it, the less I like Linhardt. Dang. I'm talking myself out of the placement I had him in. I'm going to move him down here. Yeah, we'll do that. There's Linhardt for you. Again, warp physic pretty good, but doesn't deal enough damage for me to be like, yeah, then you pass Thyrsus to him. His magic stat just struggles compared to someone like Annette or your Annettes or your Mercedes. So, but warp is so good that it brings them up to me. And physic is good too. So, yeah. Caspar. Caspar is the little man that could, isn't he? He's the little man that could. His stats are underwhelming. Not a big fan. Recruiting him it's not that annoying because he doesn't require heavy armor, so he just requires a weapon rank. But he also cannot get a B support until part 2, which is just death sentence as far as recruiting goes, in my eyes. Maybe my expectations are too high. But also just his damage output and everything, it's just not worth recruiting for me. So we're going to put him in C. Put him in C tier, matches his hair. Bernadetta. Encloser is probably her biggest thing on a Blue Lions route, because really Dimitri and other units that you already have will be killing everything for you. So Encloser is going to be her biggest niche. You can say Vengeance is good, and it is, but it's a bit like you don't need it as far as I'm concerned. In Blue Lions, your damage output is fine. Blue Lions have a lot of really good damage dealers. There's also rescue path shenanigans, which I think are a lot less useful than people make them sound, because she's probably going to die unless you use like impregnable wall, but then you have to like get her out of that situation. So I have a really hard time rating Bernie. On the tier list I did last week, I put her down in like B tier or B plus tier or something, and everyone like had a fit. Everyone was so mad. Like all the comments were about how Bernadette is actually the best unit of all time, and that she should be an S plus tier, and she's better than Dimitri and all them. So to make the people happy, I put her right there. Vengeance Bernadetta, baby. Best unit in the game. Alright, Dorothea. She wants Authority and Charm to recruit. Super easy to recruit. You also just, get a support rank. Physic is really good. Rally Charm is great for early game, which is less useful here because you're not going to recruit her right away. So that's a thing. I think I appreciate her more than Ingrid. That's going to make people mad. Yeah, I think I do. I'm going to put Dorothea above Ingrid for Physic and Magic Chip. Ingrid is just not good on Blue Lions, man. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna put Ingrid like down here. I don't like Ingrid on Blue Lions. Petra is like basically Ingrid. Petra and Ingrid are basically the same unit, except you get to recruit her out of house, which means she'll already have some levels, and I like that better. That's really all it comes down to. Her personal skill's trash. That might make someone mad for some reason too. Her personal skill isn't good. So, but what about against monsters? Sure, but monsters are not hard to deal with anyways. So yeah, Petra not good. I don't like on maddening hard mode. Okay, that's the one. There are 3 units. There are like a huge discrepancy in where they are at compared to hard and normal and maddening. Petra, Ingrid, and Leonie are all like S tier. Like A+ to S tier units on hard mode or normal mode. On maddening, they struggle so hard. Not a fan. Ooh, Thyrsus. Thyrsus guy. You're going to recruit this guy for Thyrsus anyway, so that's not even an issue. B+. Recover's really good, right? Recover's good. Frozen Lance can be fun. I'm going to put him there. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Solid unit, but outclassed by a ton of people in a ton of ways. But you get Thyrsus, so it's basically a free recruit. Because we're all recruiting him for Thyrsus, therefore we're recruiting the staff and we get a free unit as a plus. So there's Lorenz for you. Nice egghead over there. Raphael. Oh, poor Raph. Poor Raph. Goodie Basket couldn't save him. I'm going to put him above Caspar because Goodie Basket is just that good. His damage output is like okay, I guess, but that's about all he's got. About all he's got. But definitely on maddening, I feel like you want to put him to like Fortress Knight or something, but also you want to just probably put him through like Brawler and then Grappler so he can do Fierce Iron Fist. But then also you probably just want to have him sit as a Guard Adjutant. If I'm being honest, same thing with Caspar. Guard Adjutant is probably his best role, which is too bad. Because Goodie Basket is the best skill in the game. I wish it was on a slightly better unit. Ignatz. Ignatz is a net if he had some sort of utility outside of rallying, and he does. Hit plus 20 is really good on maddening. Recruiting him and then having him use gambits and stuff, especially if you have him master Archer, which might as well. You're gonna be hitting everything. He's not gonna miss stuff, which is awesome. So yeah, Ignatz, pretty solid, pretty reliable, and that is my my Ignatz rating for the week. Yep, it'll probably change next week though. But yeah, Ignatz is okay. Ignatz is a super solid unit, very middle of the pack. I do think he can contribute more than like a Dorothea or a Nanette, but I could see why people are upset with this placement. But I'm going to put him in A. Alright, Marianne. Literally Dorothea. Marianne and Dorothea are basically the same unit. Marianne, I think, has a slightly better... will end up with a slightly better magic stat in most cases. So I'm going to put Marianne slightly above Dorothea, but, like, they're so similar, it's ridiculous. Ooh, my favorite unit that everyone hates when I rate them. Lysithea. Yep, I'm going to do it. There she is. Lysithea, the biggest warp range in the game. And probably the best magic damage output in the game. Really awesome spell list. I've been over it a million times. I love Lysithea as a unit. Really, really good. For the people, I'm going to put her down here, though. For the people. For the people. A+. Alright, let's talk Hilda. Hilda is very similar to your boy Sylvain or Ferdinand, without Swift Strikes. Without Swift Strikes, which is frustrating, because if she had like a Swift Strikes or like a Brave Combat Art for axes, she'd be really, really good. But without it, she's just like, okay. I like her personal ability a lot, giving +3 damage output to adjacent males. Like her plus Sylvain, if she's next to Sylvain, Sylvain just gets like +5 damage. That's insane. You can just like put her there, therefore Sylvain is just, you know, way stronger, which is really, really fun to do. I do think she has better utility as a unit, or just overall, just like than the units below her. Better character. No, she's not a better character. She's a bad person. She's lazy, slothful. But I think her damage output's pretty good. Plus her personal ability is definitely, it's almost worth just fielding her for that. In my first maddening playthrough, I actually made her a dancer, and every time I started up the stream and someone saw her, they'd come in to the chat and be like, hey, why is Hilda your dancer? Well, it's like, number one, I didn't train her. Her stats were bad. She had the charm to pass the test. And also, why not? Man, come on. Plus, it was kind of fun with her personal skill. Like, to attack with, like, Sylvain or something, dance with her, and dance, and then have him attack again while next to her. So, come on. Be nice. Leonie. Leonie is, again, very similar to Petra and Ingrid, except she has point blank volley, and point blank volley is really good. So there. I think I'm gonna put her like, I'm tempted to go A+ tier, but I think I'm just gonna go A tier. Flying is awesome. She's good at that. Bows are awesome. She's good at that. And she gets point blank volley, which is sick nasty. I mean, it's at A rank, but that's, hey, that's workable. You can get there. A rank bows isn't like super out of the question, and she'll contribute along the way. Point blank volley, really, really good. All right, the last Blue Lion exclusive unit here we'll talk about here, I guess. We got Gilbert, everyone's favorite Gilly boy. He's only available for part 2, which in this game is literally like tied with the worst availability in the game, next to Yuritsa. So I guess C tier. I guess. I think I like him more than Raphael and Caspar, though. I think I like him more than Ash, too. I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to put him in B tier. I think Gilbert's interesting. With like he has pretty easy access to Wrath Vantage setups, because he has like, he either has Battalion Vantage or Battalion Wrath. I can't remember which one it is. I'm pretty sure it's Battalion Wrath. Someone correct me on that one. But like, I don't know, Wyvern Lord Gilbert's kind of fun. So he's a decent unit. My boy Sedith. Availability issues aside, one of the best units in the game. I'm gonna put him like here. One of the best units in the game. Swift Strikes, comes as a dragon person, so he's already flying. And then you just raise his ranks where you want him. And he also comes with a good authority rank too, which is like sick. Yeah. He's really good. Sedith is awesome. So A+ is like totally fair in my mind. I don't really have anything else to add. Really, really good unit, man. Flane. I have a hard time rating Flane. Because rescue is really good, I guess. But for rescue to be really good, I don't know. Not even that. I have a hard time with Flame. I always have a hard time ranking Flame. I think she isn't as useful as like Dorothea. Because rescue, I think, is more niche than say warp. I'm going to put her here. We'll put her there. Yeah, that's fair enough for me. Rescue, Fortify is cool, but that's really all you're getting with Flame. Oh, Hanneman. Hanneman. Rally Magic's cool. Extra warp range on one unit for a turn, which is great. Thoron. Wind is good. He also gets Thoron. He has a good. He does have a great Reason Magic spell list. So I'm actually pretty high on Hanneman. I like him a lot for combat. I'm thinking like A tier. Thinking A tier. Maybe B plus tier. Maybe like top of B plus. You know, I'm going to put him right here. I'm going to put him between Flame and Dorothea. If he had Physic or something, he'd be way higher. But, you know, Thoron is really good. And so is just having just like a high magic stat, which he does. So that, and again, Thirst is trading. Dang, I want to put him higher, though. I don't care what people are going to say. Hanneman's an A tier unit. Fight me on that. All right, Manuela. Warp out of 10. I'm going to put her at top of B+. Warp is good. Her warp range is kind of bad. And that's really all she's got going for her. Sorry for the science in the background. I'm not going to cut it up. Whatever. It's just the area I live in. Anyways, Manuela, Rally Charm is her other like selling point, but to me it's not enough to move her up any higher. I like Warp a lot, but her Warp is so bad. I think I'm gonna put her below Flame. Yeah, I don't know. People might disagree with that one, but yeah, her warp range is just generally so bad. Like, it takes a lot of work for her warp to be worth anything. Whereas someone like Lysithea, her warp range is going to be good just by using her. Whereas Manuela, you're probably going to need to feed her some stat boosters and stuff. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. You might disagree with that, but that's where we're going today. All right, Aloise, 1-2 punch man. He's 1-2 punch man. I like 1-2 punch. I feel like on Blue Lions, Aloise is like to do light. I'm gonna put him at like bottom of B+. Bottom of B+. I don't have a lot of good reasoning behind that placement. It's just what's gonna happen. It's what I'm doing. Sorry, guys. Catherine is definitely up here. Early recruit Catherine is definitely an S tier unit. She's so good. And early recruiting her isn't that hard. Mecha has a whole thing about it on his channel. Definitely go watch that if you're curious. Catherine, just really solid base stats when she comes. And she gets access to the Swordmaster class early, which is awesome. I don't think that's quite as good as like Shamir, who gets access to the Sniper class early. But statistically, she gets Swordmaster base stats no matter what, which is awesome. And obviously Thunderbrand's cool. I mean, you can give that to anyone, but hey, I guess she comes with it. It's kind of like her credit. I don't know. But I think she's an S tier unit for sure. Maybe she does kind of, I feel like she does fall off towards the like middle to end of part 2 maybe. But she's still good. I think S is fair for her early game contribution as well. So yeah, but like recruiting her by chapter 5 isn't like out of the question. It's actually like recommended almost for maddening. All right, next, Shamir. I think Shamir is one of the better units in the game on maddening at the very least. Especially if you try to recruit her as early as possible, you're gonna have Hunter's Volley super fast. The fastest Hunter's Volley in the game, like getting it, is Shamir. Hands down. Because she gets access to the Sniper class earlier than anyone else possibly can. So yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Shamir. I'm a fan of Hunter's Volley. She also just has really high dex, so she actually hits things and crits things quite often. Her personal ability is like fun with a dancer, but I guess other than that, it's like kind of whatever. So yeah, I think Shamir, definitely, I think Shamir might be one of the more underrated units, which is crazy to say because of how good she is and how highly she is rated by most people. But I think Shamir deserves to be up like S tier. up here with like Byleth and Catherine. And I'm gonna stop fronting. Yeah, Lysithea goes up here too. Cyril. Cyril. I'm gonna put him at the top of B, I think. But his combat art list is so sick, though. Oh, his combat arts are so cool. Point blank volley and vengeance on the same units. He can just delete. He can be a delete button. He has a brave combat art. Like, that's always good. That's always a good thing. If you have a brave combat art, you are useful. You want to recruit him ASAP, though, for sure. Oh man, I have a hard time with this one. We're gonna put him. I think I appreciate him more than Eloise, but maybe about as much as Petra. We'll do that. Hey, look, an actual trash tier unit. Anna has no redeeming qualities to me. Rescue. People could argue rescue all they want. She is worse Bernadetta. Her stats are bad. She's not a good unit. Can you make her work? Of course you can. Sorry, I shouldn't say she's a bad unit. There's no bad units in Three Houses. Everyone in Three Houses is at least okay. It's serviceable. But man, Anna really... I really have to search for reasons to use Anna. And I can't find them very often. She has her niches, but they are far and few between. If you can't tell, I'm not very hot on Anna. I don't think she's very good. Ooh, now to 4 fun DLC characters. The fun ones. Balthus. Balthus. I think Balthus is an A+ tier unit. You can recruit him as soon as you want. His personal ability, when he's under... I think his is under 50% HP, right? Or is it under 25? I remember it being better than Defiant, so I think it is under 50. And it gives him +6 strength and +6 defense. Which, hey, that's pretty sick on a guy with gauntlets. The defense, not so much. It's more about the strength. Like you get that rolling with like Death Blow, which is totally easy for him to get, and you probably should be getting it on him regardless. Like, yeah, that's pretty solid. That makes for a solid unit, man. But yeah, I think A+ is fair. Yuri. I think Yuri is similar in terms of usefulness to Balthus in different ways. Yuri with Wind Sweep learned at C+, super early Wind Sweep is awesome. Really great for maddening, of course. And also just really fast. He's one of the few units in the game that with a little extra effort, you can get him to start doubling things. And when I say a little extra effort, I mean like give him a few speed carrots, give him a speed wing or something, give him the speed boosters, and he'll be doubling things. There's a chance of it at least. And he's not gonna get doubled except by like assassins and sword masters or something stupid like that, or maybe the grapplers running around. But yeah, I think Yuri's really good. So again, similar in the amount of usefulness to Balthus, but not in the same way, if that makes sense. Constance. I think Constance is the worst of the Ashen Wolves. By a good margin. I'm going to put her, like, here. Actually, I think I'm going to put her there. Yeah. No, I'm going to put her below Linhardt. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah, that's where I'm going to put Constance. I think Constance really struggles to... I feel like she starts in a rut. I don't know. It's hard for me to really describe. I don't like her spell list as much as other units. People will say, "Oh, well, she's just Lysithea. She's just black magic Lysithea with rescue instead of warp." And while that's like kind of true, there's just something about Constance, man. Something about Constance, and I don't like her personal ability. I understand it's just like a buff to her stats, but there's so many maps that are like pretty much every map is outdoors. You almost are never fighting indoors. And you always would want the indoors buff on Constance, not the outdoors buff. The outdoors buff is just pointless on her because she's still going to get 2-shot. It's like, who cares? She's still going to get 2-shot. Regardless of whether she has that plus defense or not. So, yeah, Circadian Beat, not my favorite skill in the game. It's honestly just kind of frustrating because I just want the inside version or the night version of Circadian Beat always. And you don't get it ever. I think people are going to be mad about that one. Anyways. Alright, Happy. I think Happy is S tier. I think Happy is the best DLC character, aside from maybe like Yuritsa in part 2 of Crimson Flower. But other than that, I think Happy is probably the best DLC character. Warp and Physic on a unit with decent magic is awesome. I like her spell list. Banshee in particular is super clutch on Maddening, reducing the foe's movement. It reduces it by 4, or I think it actually reduces it like by 5. Which with Thyrsus, you can use Banshee and lock down even units that have, you know, really high movement to keep her safe. So you can lock down even like, you know, Pegasus Knights, Falcon Knights, Wyvern Lords and stuff, and keep her safe. Which I really enjoy. So yeah, I think Happy is definitely S tier. Ooh, a phone call. I'm not cutting that out either. Anyways, that's my tier list, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to tell me why I'm wrong in the comments. And if we're okay, just for the people who are gonna be like, well, where would you put Bernie? I would honestly put Bernie right here. Maybe here. We'll put her here for good measure. But there you go. There you have it. There is my 3 houses tier list for Blue Lions. Sorry, Blue Lions Maddening 3 houses tier list. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, like, comment your thoughts. Tell me why I'm wrong. Please yell at me in the comments. I can't wait to read all the negative comments and why I'm so wrong. It's going to be so great. Anyways, bye, guys.